Okay, all right. So hopefully, the connection holds. Okay, so we are live right now. Looks like we've got, unless that's me being counted right there. Looks like we might already have the person joining the chat. Oh, I need to plug this in. Right. My little robot friend. Okay. Okay, there we go. All right, so I am going to be available here for an hour, and I'll discuss anything with anyone who joins. All right, so this is specifically for my Philosophy 100 Introduction to Philosophy course, making myself available for the first time. Yeah, finally, at long last, and not just our third week, but into transitioning into our fourth week. We finally have this up and running. Okay, and as I said before, we're going to try to do this by different ways. This is just what I'm used to from how I ran the course last semester. Well, from last semester, I didn't do Philosophy 100 last semester, but I did do this for the courses I was teaching um, when we transitioned to remote education. I made this available, and it seemed to work for the most part. We did get some crazies in the chat, so maybe I can find a way to like turn the chat private to just people who are in the course. We'll see. Okay, so I'm going to keep this going until 12 o'clock. And so we may try something. We will try different things in the future. A number of students suggested, say, alternatives to Zoom that sound very interesting and very promising. So I might try those instead. But we'll see how this goes. We can always fall back on this as a as as a safety net if those things don't work out for us. Okay, all right. Well, don't have anyone in here yet. Perhaps I was foolish to assume that, say, people would be willing to endure an hour with me on a Saturday morning. Okay. Aha, we do have someone. We have Doyonmun say, "Good morning, Professor." Doyonmun say, "Good morning, Professor." Say, "Good morning to you." Good morning. I hope you're having a very. Oh, you go by Dunk? Probably a good idea. I am the, say, as stupid white guys go, I am one of the stupider white guys. So I'm still learning to deal. I'm still learning how to pronounce names from cultures I'm not very familiar with. So I apologize if I mispronounce your name. I will do my very best. But say I appreciate you go by Dun. Okay, so I will say Dun if you would like me to say Dun. Okay, so good morning to you, Dun. Say it's okay. You are very good. Well, that's very nice of you to say. That's very nice of you to say. But no, I'm pretty bad with with pronouncing names from Asian countries, from Spanish countries. I'm very very bad at it, but I can work on it. I can improve, and that's at least something that many other stupid white guys like myself should be able to say. They can do better if they try, and I will at least try. Okay, so done. So how are your other courses going right now? Are you enrolled in any other courses at Fullerton besides this one? I'm interested in how other people are handling remote education right now. Okay. All right, you've got anthropology, you got Chinese, and you got political science. Oh, that's very interesting. Very interesting. All of those are very interesting. Who are you taking for anthropology? Aha, we got Raphael here. Raphael, good morning to you, Raphael. We're talking to our fellow student, Dunn. Okay. Yeah, online courses are they're certainly harder to manage. They certainly are more difficult to even. It's more difficult to even feel like I'm doing my job right now. You know, I feel as the Marxists would say, alienated from my labor. Yeah, I used to be able to go to a building, see the students, talk to the students there, and be able to engage them one-on-one. And that one-on-one engagement is really important for philosophy. Jacobson is a very good friend of mine. I'm very glad that you've got him. I bet he's got a lot to say about doing online courses, about doing remote education. I know Professor Jacobson very well. We're pretty good friends, and he's got a wonderfully sarcastic and morose sense of humor. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Raphael say I miss in person too. You know, we'll see how things go. I'm hoping that we're going to get to a point where by the spring 2021 semester that we might be able to do face-to-face courses again. We'll see. You know, according to Dr. Fauci, we're still not even through the first surge here in this country. Given the abysmal way that we've responded to it so far, we're way behind. So we'll see how things go. I certainly would like to get back to it because this is far from ideal. We'll do the very best we can. Oh, okay. So Raphael is going to be hopefully transferring. I bet you will, Raphael. I bet you will. So we unfortunately won't even be able to see each other on campus. Well, maybe I'll be able to get a some part-time work over at Cal State Fullerton, and I'm on the campus pretty often anyway. I'm a graduate from Cal State Fullerton, and I like to use the library there. I actually live very close by to the university, so I'm on campus quite often. So we'll see if they've opened up the library. Whether they open up the library by that time, we'll see. But I'm on campus quite often anyway. It's one of the few places around here where there are public outlets available. So if I were to leave my apartment and I just wanted to do some work outside, I could go over to Cal State Fullerton, and there is a like a little promenade area. You know, you go right through the main gates and you go right down this long walkway, and there are chairs on either side of the walkway, and there are little electric outlet posts there, and I can sit down and plug in my laptop, and I can work there. Unfortunately, right now there is I'm friends with a number of homeless people, but there is a homeless guy there who I am not friends with, and he gets on my goat quite often. So I've been avoiding going there lately simply because that's where he's been going lately, and I don't like dealing with him when he's there. So I'm trying to find a way of getting around him while I'm on campus. He's not a violent person, but he is not a nice person. The campus is, well, let's say no one's going to kick you off of campus. Say Raphael's asking, say, is the campus open? And the campus is not open for business, but no one's going to throw you out of there as long as you are, you know, keeping your distance from other people. So I've been on campus quite often. They see that I'm just minding my own business. I'm just there doing some writing, and that's fine. That's fine. So if you want to go on campus and walk around, wear a mask, uh, keep your distance from other people. Don't look like don't go there to pick flowers or anything like that, and you should be okay. Yeah, if you've never been on the campus before, it's worth exploring. And I think that the campus is well, they're trying to give the appearance of things, how things would be, how if things had gone back to normal. Let me try to say that again. They're trying to give the appearance of how things would seem on campus if it was opened up for in-class courses again, because they've got a radio station where they pipe in music everywhere. So they want you to know that, say, while you're on campus, they'll be piping in music as you're walking between buildings and whatnot. So they're doing that. Oh, I need to figure out how to let people know that I'm going to be right back. I've got to go quickly use the bathroom. So I think what I'll do is I'll leave up a little sign that says I'm in the bathroom. Let's see if that works. Okay, I'm in the bath. Oh, how stupid of me! I forgot. I have a whiteboard now. I didn't have a whiteboard last semester, but I got one now because it just makes things so much easier. So I'm going to leave a little message on here saying that I am gone to the bathroom. Okay, in the bathroom. Will be back. Okay. BRB, as the kids say. Okay. Okay. All right. Do we have anyone else in the chat so far? So we've got 4 people. So we got Dunn, we got Raphael. Well, thank you, Raphael. Thank you for welcoming me back. Anyone else want to say hello? Don't forget that that I do give participation points for those who join the chat and join in the discussion. So if anyone is here in the class, let's say this is a public chat, so there might be some people who have just signed on simply because we're on live right now. So we'll give them an opportunity to say hello. All right. All right, so Dunn is doing political science, he is doing Chinese, and he is doing anthropology right now. Do you have a declared major, Done? All right, who do you, oh, hello there, Han. Hello, how are you doing? Good to have you with us. Yeah, Dunn, do you have a declared major right now? Are you doing anthropology or languages or political science as a major? And Raphael, do you have a declared major? Well, unless you just did GED stuff over at Fulton College, do you have a declared major as well? Okay. All right. Dunn is an accounting major. Bravo, Dunn. Bravo. Say, as long as the capitalist system keeps on going, we will always need accountants. And I certainly will always need to say someone else who is better with with my accounts than I am to figure out, say, what I owe. Okay. So Dunn says, I finished all major courses and now take GE classes for transfer. Okay, very good. Very good, Dunn. You say good. That is a smart way of going about it. To do it all at the beginning or all at the end. Okay. All right. Raphael says, GE done. Declared major is cinema and television. Now that's very interesting. When I also went to Fullerton College about 10,000 years ago. And I went to Fullerton College first as a cinema studies major. I thought that I would go into filmmaking, or at least film studies. And while I was getting that started, I became more interested in doing literature as a major. And then while I was doing my lit major stuff, I then became just more and more engrossed in my philosophy courses. So I went from being a film major to a literature major to a philosophy major. And I'm trying to remember the name of the professor that I had for film studies at the beginning. I'm trying to remember his name. It was a Czech name, some kind of like Novak or Slovak or something like that. Thank you, Raphael. Yeah, I do love movies very much. I'm very interested in the process of filmmaking, but just my life went in different directions. Yeah, what the fellow's name is, I don't remember. I certainly have not seen him on campus for many a moon, so he may have retired some time ago. I just can't remember. Pardon me. Okay, we got Han here as well. Han, do you have a declared major? I think that had things gone back to semi-normal, and had we all been face to face with each other on the first day of our course, what I would have done is ask everyone to introduce themselves, tell me something about themselves, and also tell me what their major is. This is just a way for myself to get a little bit more familiar with my students, but also for the students to become more familiar with each other. So this is an opportunity to do that if we only had some more people here. Well, I'm going to say I think that in the future I should not have. If I have the chats on Saturday, remember it's all contingent on, say, whether my husband is around or not. If he's out of here, then I'll be able to have these chats going. So in the future, if it turns out that I will have to do this on a Saturday, I'm going to do it later on in the day. Okay. Well, you're very right, Raphael. 3 is better than none, and I'm very glad that Han, the Dunn, and that you are here. Okay. And maybe we'll get some other people showing up. Maybe some people are just waking up and they're checking their email and seeing, oh, say there's something going on right now. Okay, I'll just log in for a little bit. Oh yeah, if I didn't have something to do today, I might still be asleep myself. It's difficult to find energy to do things these days because I'm confined in my apartment so often. I just uh, through lack of stimulation or what have you, I just feel like sleeping all the time. Yeah, yeah, it's I've been taking some jellies, some little gummies that are supposed to give me a little bit more energy. Yeah, yeah, it's the situation we're dealing with right now. It's pretty exhausting. Uh-huh. Yeah, a lot of folks are tired now, more tired now just for being at home. Yeah, um, we're just a little bit, our bodies are just getting a little bit too used to minimal activity, and I think it's gone into a severe kind of conserve energy mode. Um Oh, if you don't mind me asking you, Raphael, what do you do? Raphael says, thankfully, he's still able to go out and interact with people. What do you do for your work, Raphael? And if anyone else wants to tell me what you do for your job as well, I think that'll be very interesting. Oh, you work at McDonald's. Okay, very good. Well, so you are definitely an essential employee. Say we're say got flexible hours and a tuition assistance. Now that is something I know that they pride themselves over that. Say that of being able to of helping out employees who are also students. So I'm glad that you're getting tuition assistance from them. Okay, all right. Well, very very good. I'm glad you got that. If Dunn is still here, let me know what you if you have a job, what you do. Han, if you would if you're willing to tell us what you do for work. Okay. I have not had to spend any money yet on school because of the tuition assistance. Well, very good. Dunn has 3 part-time jobs. He works at the CPA office. He delivers medical supplies. Bravo, Dunn. Bravo, bravo. Say you are doing the world a great service right now. And Dunn is in the Army Reserve. My goodness. Solid citizen Dunn. Solid citizen Dunman. Yeah, bravo, sir. Bravo for making yourself available for the defense of us. Thank you so much. A lot of your coworkers quit when the pandemic started. Yeah, yeah. I hopefully those coworkers that quit were able to find jobs elsewhere. But I can understand. Say, if, you mean your coworkers delivering medical supplies or at the CPA office? Because I can understand. Say either way, how they would be worried about say infection if they are around people who might give them the virus. Okay, medical supplies. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I can understand that. I can understand say why they would do that. Hopefully they're able to find work elsewhere. But say so good for you for sticking through that. Thank you very much for doing that. Lots of people were very afraid. Yeah, and good reason too. And there's good reason for people to still be very afraid. Um, I was worried, say, when we kind of got into a routine of lockdown and social distancing and so forth, that people would think that say we'll kind of get maybe a little too used to that and thinking that okay, I've done this for long enough now. Things feel safe. I can relax and just take my mask off wherever I am and just go out with my buddies again as if it's all over. So I think we've got to make sure that we don't fall into that mentality. We still have to be very vigilant about say what we're doing and about what other people are doing right now. Okay. Say they had a lot of COVID patients over the retirement hotels. I can understand that because say we did know this, say towards the beginning, we did know that people with weak immune systems, and particularly the elderly, would be very susceptible to the virus. And you might know about how they tried to do things in Sweden and what a horrible disaster that was, where they said, well, we're going to go in a different direction rather than say having just closing down businesses, rather than say having mandatory lockdowns and all of these social restrictions. What we're going to do is try to promote herd immunity. We're going to try to make sure that, say, by the next time the disease comes back, our bodies will be prepared for them. Well, there's bound to be, say, some risk and some loss, but we'll handle it. And what happened? A huge amount of elderly people began dying in Sweden. Say Sweden had the highest rate of deaths of any Northern European nation after a certain point. At the beginning, it was Italy and some other countries. Italy and some other countries had the highest rate to begin with, but because of their severe lockdowns, they brought it down, and they brought it down fairly gradually. But they did get it very down there. They said while they had got it down, Sweden's was skyrocketing, and then they find out, say, after a period of months, that they are no more closer to herd immunity than when they began. Because the thing is, folks, is say that herd immunity works best when we have a vaccine. This is something that say that people in the medical community in Sweden were yelling at the government the entire time. Say, this is not how effective herd immunity works. We need a vaccine for it to actually be effective. And we don't have a vaccine. So, you have to start leveling, say, greater restrictions on, say, what people can do. But they didn't do that. They didn't do that. So they are no more closer to herd immunity than we are right now. And the person that the president is listening to is kind of like his top COVID advisor, unfortunately, wants us to go in Sweden's direction, even though it was an abysmal failure. And what happened in Sweden is, why I even got into this little diatribe right here. Why I started going on that is because of the amount of people who are at risk, who are elderly. The amount of people, say, in retirement homes, in hospitals, and so forth. It's just staggering that we would want to put these people at risks like that. Say when you look at people as just being a statistical probability instead of a human being, this is how easy it can be to see people as a necessary sacrifice in order to get things back to normal. So we need to watch out for that, and we still need to be very, very careful and very, very cautious about how we approach things like opening up businesses again, and well, just easing social restrictions to begin with. Our local libraries, as I understand it, may be opening up in the future, but I tell you, I'm not going there. I'm not going to a library until they give me the all clear. Because who goes to libraries? A lot of old people, and also a lot of homeless people. And homeless people are at a great risk as well. Homeless people have very little protection to begin with, if any, and they would bring it back to, say, their camps, and they would infect others. And say, as they're because if you are homeless in Southern California, you've got to be traveling quite a bit, because we've made it so that you just can't stay put anywhere. So they're going to be carrying it around with them. So we need to be very, very careful with how we do things. Okay. Say Raphael asks, do you think we will have a vaccine by the end of the year? I have absolutely no idea. I know that there are a lot of people who say that they have something very promising. A lot of research, uh, say a lot of research institutes and whatnot say they have some very promising candidates for a vaccine, but say you don't know whether it's effective or not until we get a lot of data. Say this is the thing, folks. Say when we look at the history of medicine, say the development of vaccines is something that happens very, very slowly. We had polio for a long, long time before we had any kind of way of preventing it. We say, the development of vaccines happens very, very slowly, and say especially especially the when the medical community is confident in saying this is it. This is something that will work because that requires a long time after accumulating a lot of data. Now, right now, here's the good news. Right now, more people are working on a single vaccine than any time in human history. I think even more, and this is rather unfortunate, but I think it's true. Even more so than during the height of the AIDS epidemic, when also thousands and thousands and thousands of people were dying. I think fewer people were working on an AIDS vaccine than right now working on a COVID-19 vaccine. So the good news is we have laboratories, universities, research centers all over the world working on a single problem. That's the good news. The bad news is sharing of information. Sharing of information is vital for science, and especially for the development of much needed medicine. Say you need to be able to share data. You need to be able to share test results, and because America and other countries want to be the one to have that first claim of glory of having developed a vaccine, we have decided we're not going to participate in sharing data with other people. Naturally, that's only for people who that's only for research that is being directly funded by the government. But say other private ones can also share with whoever they want. But that is still reducing the chances reducing the chances for us to actually develop a vaccine quickly with other people, even if we're just talking about, say, a small number of research facilities that is being aided by the government, not being able to contact other research groups elsewhere in the world that are also aided by their governments. The fact that we're not doing that is shrinking the chances of getting this done as quickly as possible. So I would say, I don't know. I don't know the future. I cannot claim to know how things are going to go, but I will say that I am pessimistic. I will say that I am pessimistic that we would have something certain by the end of the year. By January 1st, 2021, I am doubtful that we'll have it, uh, based on the fact that we have decided to minimize the sharing of data, and based on the fact that, say, you need a huge amount of data to be able to say confidently, this is the vaccine. That takes time, that takes observation, that takes, say, a lot of checking and rechecking, and that takes more than a couple of months to do. That takes say having to have kind of like control groups and being able to compare, say, being able to say, well, here are some numbers where it's not working. Is that actually going to affect my overall determination that this is effective? If we have a much larger body of people that it does seem to be working for, how can I tell, say, whether say how much one group is actually being affected as opposed to another group? That takes a long time. A long time. You have to be very, very careful with what you can declare as an effective treatment for something. So because of that, I am doubtful. However, never underestimate human ingenuity, and especially when so many people are working on the same thing at the same time. So while I am doubtful that we'll have a vaccine by the end of the year, and who knows, I could be wrong. And by gun, I hope I'm wrong. I hope we're able to get a vaccine before the end of the year, because that means that fewer people will die. I don't want more people to die just for me to be right. So even though I'm doubtful of that, I hope that I am going to be wrong, but I am confident. I am confident that we will eventually have a treatment for it. I'm confident that one day we'll be able to find, say, something to effectively deal with AIDS, cancer, and other things. But it is going to take time. It's going to take a lot of not just brain power, but also just having a lot of opportunities for study and research. So that takes time. Okay. All right. And just this week, they started allowing indoor dining again, and the gyms are reopening again now. Yeah, these things I say, I have been noticing that, because one things I do, because there's very few options left, is when my husband needs his time alone. My husband and I are both loners. We married each other because we loved each other very much, and we found that we were very kind of like compatible personalities, and that we both are people that really love our privacy and having our own private time for ourselves to work on our projects. So we live in a studio apartment, which means that we are with each other constantly. And when you have two loners together for an extended period of time, they're going to start feeling uncomfortable. So when my husband needs his alone time, I get out of the apartment. I do that as opposed to him getting out, because he works. He's got a job out, just like you, Raphael, and just like you, Dunn. He's got a job outside of this apartment, so he's able to interact people, and I get to stay here all by myself. So that's good for me. That's good for me, even though it puts him at risk going out there and doing the stuff that he does. I at least get to stay here alone. Haha. But when he's here on his day off, or when he gets a half day, I go out, and quite often I go to downtown Fullerton. If you go to downtown Fullerton, there's a very good chance that you'll see me there eventually. And one of the very few things you can do in downtown Fullerton, you can go downtown Fullerton, you can sit on a bench, but a time will come when you might have to use the bathroom. And I have found that there are a few things that you can do in order to have a place where you can sit down and be near a bathroom that you can use. And that is to be at a coffee shop or to be at a bar. A bar with outside seating area. So I'm quite often over at Hopscotch, because Hopscotch has that it already had that beautiful patio area, that raised patio in the back of Hopscotch. And I'm there, and I'm nursing a double shot of Jameson whiskey for as long as I can. And I'm there doing that, doing my research, doing my writing, drinking, and trying to extend that for as long as I can. Now I see they are bringing in people inside for limited inside dining. Now, they can only have a certain amount of people in there, which may be a sign that we are going forward. They wouldn't even be allowed to do this unless they, maybe they just want to rush things. But I want to believe that they wouldn't allow them to do that if there were not already an indication that that there are fewer people being treated in hospitals and whatnot. As a matter of fact, a friend told me the other day that there are fewer people in hospital being treated for COVID, which is a good sign. However, even if, just as you say, Raphael, even if we are just talking about 20% capacity, we're talking about, say, people within a confined area with air conditioning. So that means to say whatever you are breathing in and breathing out has been reprocessed back into the room with everyone else breathing it in and breathing it out. This is why I still think it's very risky to do this. Now, of course, part of the thing is that we want to be able to control the population to a certain extent. You know, we live in a free country, but say we have to take emergency measures if there is a great risk to the public at large. However, that's not an easy thing to do when you have a lot of people who say, "Hey, I've been inside for weeks and weeks and weeks. I really want to go out and have myself a steak, and you can't stop me." Well, what do you do? What do you do? Maybe it's a way of giving some people a certain kind of sense of, say, things are going back to normal. They become a little less agitated. They become a little less nervous. We do have to watch out for frayed nerves, but that's a risk. That is a risk where you are talking about, say, a greater chance of spread and infection. So you're asking yourselves, hey, how are they going to be balancing these things out? Where we're worried about, say, morale on the one hand, and we're worried about, say, life and death on the other hand, because those are the two things we're trying to balance out here. So it's a big risk. It's very, very risky, and I don't know what call I would make, honestly. If I were in charge of things, I don't know what I would do, but I would do this. I would not try to open up businesses as quickly as they did several months ago, where we needed to come back down hard with lockdowns, because we all knew it was premature, but we were getting a lot of pressure from a lot of people to open them back up again. So I think I would at least have tried to hold out on that as long as I could. Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy making these calls. It's not easy making these calls, but say your primary concern has to be people's lives. Say when it comes to, say, things like the economy and whatnot, say, we actually have a good deal of precedent on how we can aid these things, how say we can have, say, programs put in place to make sure that, say, we can minimize not just joblessness, but homelessness, lack of food, lack of proper supplies and whatnot. We had measures in place to take care of these things, but gotta say we decided to go in another direction, apparently. Okay, Raphael says he's got to go switch computers right now. Okay, all right. Anyone else still with us? We got is Dunn still here? How long have you been in the Army Reserve, Dunn? I have some relatives who are in the National Guard, and also some friends in the Army Reserve too. So once again, good for you for making yourself available. Okay, Dunn's here. And how long have you been in the Army Reserve, Dunn? For 4 years. Wow. Do you have to go back for more training every once in a while? Every once in a while, they've got to make sure that, say, that whenever they need you, you're in good condition for that. Are you on a 6x2 contract? Oh, you're talking to Dunn. Okay, yeah. You're talking to Dunn about that. International student before, and when I joined, they did lots of background. It took 2 years. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. I don't think I would be able to hack it. I don't think I'm cut out for a soldier's life myself. It takes a great deal of self-control, a great deal of discipline, a great deal of courage, and I don't know if I've got that. Okay. Not everyone is. That's true. That's true. But say more people are than maybe they imagine themselves to be. You know, during say when people are drafted, you're taking in thousands and thousands and thousands of people who never considered going into the military before, and by and large they do very good at it. So who knows? Maybe I would do better than I think I would. But say if you want to talk a little philosophy right now, I think that say the quote unquote average person is a lot better, a lot more capable, a lot wiser, and a lot more judicious, a lot braver than people give the average person credit for. I think that we do ourselves a disservice, particularly as a democracy, by looking down so much on people, on praising say certain people as having say being particularly gifted at the and giving them so many opportunities at the expense of people who maybe just need more time or need more attention or need more encouragement, and they think, well, I couldn't do that anyway, so why should I try? That's not good. Okay. All right. Army teaches good values. I really appreciate that. Very good. Very good. It is especially a lot of values when it comes to say being able to take care of yourself. I remember my grandparents say the bed was always made a particular way. You always made sure that say that that things were put away clean. You kept your clothes clean. You kept yourself clean, and you made sure that other people knew how to do that as well. I had to relearn that because my I wasn't really taught that by my parents, but I did learn that from my grandparents. Although I still have problems keeping myself clean. Keeping everything else clean, I don't have problems. Okay. All right. Okay, so we say yeah. A lot gotta keep those shoes looking good. Mm-hmm. Gotta keep your uniform neat, gotta keep your shoes looking good, and that is important. That helps promote a certain kind of mentality that is supposed to be good for you in the field. And that's something that we're going to be talking about when we get into ethics. We'll try to do some Aristotelian ethics. And part of say Aristotelian ethics is almost kind of like a soldier's code of ethics. It's about promoting say your ability to make good decisions based on the development of good habits. Just like they want you to be able to make good decisions as a soldier based on the good habits they put in you in basic training. But speaking of philosophy, say we've got about 10 minutes left before I shut this down. Does anyone say Dunn or Raphael or whoever's ever here, do you have any questions about say what we're doing in the course? Any questions about the readings? Hopefully people have gotten started on the reading. Questions on the assignment, questions about the topics we've covered so far, or if they just have any kind of like general questions or just any kind of like philosophical questions. I'm happy to answer them. Is the book supposed to be kind of confusing? Are you finding the book confusing, Raphael? The answer is a tentative yes. Say philosophy certainly is supposed to be challenging, but say good philosophy, I think it's something that that you can adjust yourself to. Because you feel that it's really getting your mind thinking, which is good. That's good. That's good. Yeah. If it is if it's written, here's the kind of like where I would divide up the problem. If it's written in a way that is difficult to understand, that is a problem. But if the writing is clear, the ideas take a while to sink in, or if the ideas are hard to understand, not because of the writing, but just because they are different ideas or asking you to think in it in a way that you haven't before, that's okay. So if you're finding it challenging in the sense of or confusing in the sense of the ideas that is presenting to you, that's a good thing. Just like, when I'm hitting you with all these different branches and schools of philosophy, you might ask yourself, how could anyone in their right mind come up with these kinds of things? Subjective idealism. Why would anyone even kind of like arrive at that as a guess for what's out there? Well, you'd be surprised. Say it's actually there's actually for the philosophy that say subjective idealists like Berkeley and so on were dealing with. It kind of like left them a very good opportunity for them to make their arguments. But say on the face of it, these are certainly very can be very sound very unlikely, very improbable, maybe even silly sorts of ideas. So if you're say to begin in a state of confusion in philosophy is a good thing, because that means that you are moving out of your comfort zone. So if it's something like that, if it's kind of like a challenging in a sense to say that you're not immediately getting it, that's okay. That is okay, because that means that you're getting started. That means that you're actually facing those things that you're going to now have to deal with as you progress forward. Now, I've been doing this for how long? I've been doing philosophy been a student, like a serious student of philosophy for about how long? How long? Let's say okay, for nearly 20 years. Nearly 20 years, I have been a serious student of philosophy, and even at this point, I've got my doctorate. I'm qualified to teach philosophy. I have a doctorate in philosophy. I have written, say, very involved papers. I've given presentations before learned bodies and so forth. And there are still many things that I'm learning, and I still have a good deal of difficulty thinking through. Because here's the other thing, that even when you have been doing it for so long, you should still find certain things confusing. You should still be able to find, say, certain kinds of ideas, certain problems, very, very difficult problems to wrap your head around, because that means that you're still thinking about them. Oftentimes in philosophy, some problem appears to be solved because the problem wasn't thought through. It appears that we've solved the problem, but we don't actually have it effectively solved because we didn't understand the implications involved. So when you get to this end of philosophy, to the end where I'm at right now, you should still feel a certain amount of confusion, a certain amount of difficulty facing these things, because you have to be able to see that in the history of philosophy that you are still at the same point as Plato and Parmenides and Heraclitus in dealing with the very mysterious, wondrous, and very compelling basic problems, the basic problems that we're still dealing with. I do think that we're dealing with it a little bit better now at this end than we did at the very beginning. These are still vital questions that we've yet to find satisfactory answers for that everyone can agree on. And who knows, maybe philosophy shouldn't even be thought of as trying to find that answer that everyone will agree on, but maybe just refining our understanding of the question a little bit better. Maybe, I really don't see why we can't see trying to solve something as something that we shouldn't shoot for. But we always have to hold out and say, however we solved it can be opened up to criticism and improvement. We should at least have that in mind. Because one criticism that is constantly being leveled at philosophy is, oh well, it's just a bunch of bullshit. It's just a bunch of mental masturbation. It's just a bunch of just dicking around with ideas without really coming to anything definite. Well, no, I don't think so. I don't think that is the case, especially if you look at the history of philosophy. There has been, I think, genuine progress made from the point that we began in philosophy to the point that we are at now, because we have built up a much more complex understanding of what we're dealing with, and we have also really refined and developed the techniques that we need to have in order to understand these problems, in order to understand what an effective solution would be, and being able to criticize others who say things like, problem solved, or say it's just how science describes it, or things of that nature. So progress has been made, and I want to point out, say, as we go through this, I think genuine steps in the direction towards whatever direction we're supposed to go in philosophy being achieved, being met, and then advanced upon. So that's something that I would like to point out, because it's not like we are just always working with the same kinds of understanding that they did back in the days of ancient Greece. We have a much more complex, much more developed understanding of the world, of the bodies that we're dealing with, of the other peoples that we are in contact with. So, the link is there with the problems that, say, that Plato and Aristotle and whatnot dealt with, and that we're still dealing with today. But they are also different problems. They are different problems because we have a much better way of understanding, say, what's involved in them now than we did then. And that is progress, to at least being able to understand, say, what the problem is before you. But it's more than that. Okay. All right. So, any other questions? Any other questions or comments about the class? Okay. Raphael says he does like the book, though. Yeah. Thomas Nagel, I think is a very good writer, and that's rare. That's rare, actually, in philosophy, is to find, say, good philosophers who are good writers. And Thomas Nagel is both. Thomas Nagel is both a significant philosopher and, I think, a very good writer too. But here's the thing: if you find anything in the book where it is not just that you're dealing with a difficult idea, but also maybe just the writing just can't seem to convey the issue or the argument effectively, let me know. And also, if you ever find anything confusing that you just want to chat about, we'll do that. Because certainly as we go forward in the lectures are now going to be drawing more from the reading book. Now that we've gotten some introductory basic stuff out of the way, say we're going to be working more closely with how Nagel is setting up the basic issues in philosophy and how we can address them. Okay, so if any questions about any of that stuff comes up, you can always ask me. I'll try to have myself available like this once a week, at least once a week. And if anyone wants to have like a private one-on-one chat thing like this, or by phone or by email, I'm available. And it's my job to make myself available for you, because we're trying to deal with a situation that none of us like. We all want to be in the classroom, or I want to be in the classroom anyway, with the students again. So that does make me feel like I'm working more directly with students, which makes me feel like I'm actually doing my job. Because, as I said at the beginning, say this doesn't even feel like real work. any longer. It feels like, you know, I'm not actually doing the job that I was trained to do. And I don't know what I'm doing. But so the more I'm able to engage with students, the more it'll actually feel like what I wanted to do it to begin with, and that is to work with students on these marvelous, these wondrous, and these absolutely, oh god, just the quality of these issues are just, they're just so pleasurable in themselves. That's just something I really wish I had a greater more of an opportunity to deal with each other, with everyone, one on one. Okay, so we'll call it a day for this session. Thank you so much for everyone who participated, especially to Don and Raphael and Han who said hello. I hope to see more of you again. I'll try to have these things, if this happens on a Saturday, I'll try to have it happening a little bit later in the day, and I'll see you next time. And you're very, very welcome, Raphael, and you're very, very welcome, Don. All right, have a good one. Have a very good weekend. I'll have the new lectures uploaded later today, and you take care of yourself. All right, and you have a nice rest too, there, Raphael. Thank you.